Good afternoon. I am Mary Shim from the education sector of Microsoft Korea. Although we are meeting you online, it is such a great honor to talk about Microsoft's educational tools and solutions. And I think it's quite timely and appropriate to talk about this issue in this time. So rather than just talking about education for specifically education, AI only, we talk about this as the future skills, and we are focusing on certain skills as the key skills needed for the future talent. So let's first watch a video clip together.
We are all teachers.
And we're all learners.
We each learn in our own way.
We are designing an acid rain shield for Taj Mahal.
We are working on the science and archaeology behind Pompeii.
We are working on how we can save water, and it was really cool.
We are surgeons and climate scientists.
We are architects and artists.
We are anything and everything we want to be.
I want to be an engineer and a poet.
I want to be a lawyer to help other people see reality.
We all have our own challenges.
Math is sometimes hard for me. I'm really bad at writing.
Programs are challenging for me,
But we find ways to make them opportunities.
So we can see and understand. And come together to solve problems.
Then it would come down this way, go to the filter. Then it would come into the rain catcher.
In school
And in the world.
I want to help people by breaking stereotypes, showing people that we all stand together.
I would probably try and help people who aren't really confident in themselves.
I want to see the world turn into a better place for everyone.
We're not waiting for tomorrow.
Because we're creating a future today.
So today's conference is also about our children, how we can have them have their future and accomplish their dreams. So philosophy of Microsoft was embodied in this video, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. So you know Microsoft as an IT company, but our education philosophy is to empower the students of today to create the world of tomorrow. So we want to be their supporters. So we create education solutions and programs. And you can see the photo of our CEO. So as I already said, at Microsoft, we have, of course, our technologies, but we understand that with the time changing, we focus on what are the new technologies needed and what are needed for different phases. And based on those definitions, we share them with students and academics and institutes. You can see here that for students, for example, so this is in English version. You can see that for AI education and software education, in Microsoft's view, it is to encourage students to have interest. Education is not easy, but if students have interest, if they are intrigued, then they can go on to the next step. So these are what are needed for each steps. Also, there are technical factors, but what is also very important is like computational thinking and computer literacy across all the primary, secondary, and higher education that should be integrated. If not, well, the effect would be even worse than without having it. So those critical thinking and digital literacy should be linked starting from primary to the higher education. So it's not just about experiencing, but they would start with interest, just simple pure interest, but in the end, they will come up with a concrete output. So we have a seamless process prepared for students. So this is one of my favorite slides. At each step from primary, secondary, and higher education, those are things needed and competencies required and solutions needed to nurture those competencies. Just a side note, well, one of the biggest strengths of Microsoft is that, well, it's quite hard as a presenter to talk about this, but there are so many Microsoft solutions out there. AI education of Microsoft is integrated, and these resources are provided to learners. In many parts, they are given for free to students and teachers and institutions if they want, whenever they want, they can access it, and mostly they are free of charge. We are a B2B company, and this is about production and creation, but it's not just about creation, but we believe that productivity should be also secure. So we have Imagine Academy, where all our science, like computer science, software science, and AI data, those courses can be learned through this Imagine Academy. And recently, across the world, we have been implementing retraining, re-education for the aged people or people without jobs. We have done this survey on what are needed, and based on our survey, we have made some announcements, and one of that was this using LinkedIn or using Microsoft to learn, which is like with the fourth industrial revolution, the key competencies or skills can be learned through those sites. We are operating those sites, and if you go onto those websites, you can see that children or teachers can find and learn what they want to learn. And you think that Microsoft is like providing AI or cloud solutions for developers. So in that regard, we have education program on GitHub, which is like the sacred land of developers. And these programs are not just about experiencing and learning on your own, but it will lead to internationally acknowledged certification. So final output would be acquisition of those certifications. So I have tried to cover so many things in the presentation, but you can see here a program called MS Learn. So it is like about AI, basics of data, and cloud. So currently in software and AI, there are some competencies required. So you can see all of them here. And at Microsoft as a company, we understand how, when some people learn AI, how we can specify those skills into the requirements of different industries. So we have curriculum for that. So it's called AI Business School. Either you can be a student or a teacher. You can learn the course and come up with output and apply it to different industries like agriculture or retail, any industries that you are in. So your output can be applied, or for example, you can look into different actual applications in different fields. So you can see various AI-related courses. Recently, we have understood the importance of the workplace practice. Also, of course, there are some textbooks and lectures, but it's important to experience those learnings and to apply them. So there are those websites to do that. Well, my 15-minute time is too short to cover all the solutions that we have, but I will be just briefly introducing them to you. So we have Azure in Education. It's a cloud platform, an AI platform as well. So students and teachers and educators and institutions can go in there and find learning for free. So you can just take it as a reference. One of our strengths is this link with GitHub. So even in GitHub, students or teachers can learn the related courses there. I tried to cover so many things here, so I will be skipping some slides, starting from students to developers and actual application of the solutions. We cover everything, and starting from last year, maybe even back years ago, regarding AI textbook, Ministry of Education and all the related agencies are reviewing how we can create the proper AI textbook. And in that regard, we have completed a Korean version of our AI textbook. So this one is used in the US and India. It covers for 3 grades. So you can see student's handbook and teacher's handbook for 3 student grades. So it covers AI basics and fundamentals of data, and based on that you can do the actual practice. So it is a comprehensive course. So it doesn't fit with the regular curriculum of Korea's educational system, but there should be some adjustment made in the future, but I just wanted to mention it. So actually, I added this slide after I arrived here. Just a few days ago, we have announced this program called Over the Moon with the partnership with Netflix. This is like a AI course or AI project. So this Over the Moon, it's like exploitation by NASA going over to the moon. So I just went to this solution and looked through. So it's very interesting, and it's PBL-based learning. So students will find it very interesting and easy to approach. And at each step, there are some special instruments making students keep on learning. And for this program called Over the Moon, there are some tasks to be completed for students to go on to the next step. So all the courses and programs and the steps are made in Korean, so you can enjoy the learning in very easy way. So related to AI, there are so many things that we have at Microsoft, but unlike other companies, what we have is this Imagine Cup, an international challenge cup. I believe that students and children of Korea are quite outstanding. And these children, if they learn about AI and software solidly and properly, if they join these challenges, I believe that they can showcase their abilities to keyword. But related to AI, they didn't have those chances so far. And since last year, we have introduced this AI challenge. For example, for Imagine Cup, it has a long history. And since last year, we added this Imagine Cup Junior. So it's called AI for Good. For this challenge, I believe that Korean children can showcase their great strengths to the world. Also, we have, as I said, internationally acknowledged credentials to be provided if you accomplish the course. It is not just limited to Korea, but it's a global certification. So even if you acquire in Korea, it can be utilized across the world wherever they go. So you can see that we have the connection with GitHub. So this is the end of my slide. Although I was just given 15 minutes, actually it was quite a short time to cover how we provide AI education at Microsoft, because we are not just providing AI education, but providing comprehensive education for this technology starting from elementary school years. focusing on the required competencies. So it's not just experience, but getting the actual hands-on knowledge and also getting credentials and getting jobs. So it is like a comprehensive program that we provide. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.